Hey, good morning. It's Dr. James. I hope you're off to a beautiful start today. It's so good to see you. Thank you for your time and thank you for your energy. And today, thank you for suspending your judgment for at least 1 minute. Give me 1 minute to romance this in such a way that you go, oh, I never thought of it that way. Or, oh, you know what? I have to reduce the size of my butt in order to get here. Well, so, number one, not the butt back here, the butt right here. And I know all of you, and I know you specifically are one of those people who, at some time in your life, has probably had to wrestle with the idea of exercise and whether or not it was going to become a beautiful, non-negotiable part of your life. And I don't mean like you have to go do CrossFit or win sprints or like knock down, drag out warrior yoga or Spartan races. I mean, many of you guys are doing that, and that is awesome. But most of us are just, hey, you know what? Good walk. Or, I got on my stationary bike and, it wasn't dramatic and whatever. But here's the deal. This is one of those studies that when you read it, it makes you step back and assess the way that you approach exercise. Now, before you say, number one, I don't like exercise, or number two, I don't know what exercise to do, I don't have time. So all those buts we typically are placing before our exercise, this piece of self-care and self-love that is so powerful, I want to change the game. What we know about research and what we know about the studies behind people who continually move their bodies and do it at the level of joy, they don't do it because they're like, oh, I'm so stoked to go for a walk because I want to increase my metabolism so I can lose some weight. That's not why we move. And they also don't exercise because, well, you know what? I've got a heart health history, or my cholesterol has been high, or whatever. So I'm going to go out and run. That is a total butt. That is like, that's not inspiring to me. So here's what I wanted you to do. I want you to know that every time that you go out for a walk or a run or a bicycle ride or a swim or whatever you're doing, ask yourself this: do I ever regret it when I come back? Ever regret it? Do I always come back and go, you know what? I just feel better. That was so good for my heart. That was good for my spirit. That was good for my soul. My mind now feels less heavy. That's why we move. And the research from University of Michigan says that's why people who move their entire life, all they do is say, I enjoy how I feel after I'm done, or even during it. That's also happening for people. So I want to really address something that I think is, listen, this is something that everyone is experiencing at some time in their life. You may be experiencing it right now. I know that I experience it every now and then, probably more often than ever, though, these days. And that is anxiety, an increased level of fear, just stuff coming up on the mental and emotional level. And I'm looking for ways to help my emotional being, my spiritual being, navigate these very interesting times. So I did a little research on how, when we approach movement with a level of play and a level of lightness and joy, it's like, think of when you played frozen tag as a kid, or when you're still playing frozen tag. I mean, you're cracking up the whole time. You are literally hysterical. And what studies are showing that when we go into movement with a sense of play, particularly, this is very interesting. They talk about doing yoga from a standpoint of just stretching and moving to music, and not necessarily being in this rigorous, downward facing dog and hold the warrior, but more like, I'm just doing the warrior and I'm doing my downward dog and I'm stretching and I'm breathing. When we do that, we stimulate something called the frontal lobe and the insula. Both of those parts of our brain are associated with lowering anxiety, lowering our fear, and increasing our positive sense of self. So every morning you wake up, you brush your teeth, and after you brush your teeth, just go ahead and just drop into a little yoga, or just, do... I won't demonstrate, but I'll put on some music. Tell Alexa to put on some nice 60s, like Peace Train, Love Train, whatever, and just move a little bit and breathe a little bit and empower your insula and your frontal lobe to lower that anxiety and lower that fear, increase those positive emotions. And if you want to do a little interval work, like we could walk fast and then walk slow, this is super cool. It actually stimulates the hypothalamus, which is directly associated with how we go about feeding our emotions. And if you've ever in a place you're like totally stressed and you're going, man, I'm so stressed, I'd love to eat a whole bunch of broccoli. You don't do that. You're like, Oh man, just give me a box of wine and give me some white chocolate. Don't give me dark chocolate. That's good for me. Studies show that will actually help us to decrease sugar cravings. So here's a cool strategy. At the end of the day, when maybe you're a little stressed, you're a little tired, you're wired, take a lap around your house or around your hallway or down the driveway and back, because that'll stimulate the hypothalamus, lower your sugar cravings. You walk in the house, you're back in command of your life. The love is flowing, the self-awareness is flowing, and your courage to take the best care of the temple is alive and well. Your brain on play is a spiritual practice. It's mental, emotional well-being unleashed. Whew. Let that kid come through you. She's still there, and you just have to welcome her and allow her to come and play with you, through you, and in you. So with that, much love, many blessings. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.